All right, let's do some Mathity-Math. It says here, find the roots of the quadratic by using the quadratic formula. Okay, so here we go. This is our quadratic right here, and we've been told to solve using the quadratic formula. So the quadratic formula will give us our x-intercepts. We call those our roots, our solutions, or the zeros. But anywho, the quadratic formula is x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all of that divided by 2a. Now, all you have to do is plug in your a, b's, and c's into this formula, but then the question should be asked, well, what are my a, b's, and c's? Your a, b's, and c's come from the standard form of a quadratic, and the standard form is just ax squared plus bx plus c is 0. So lucky for us, we are already in standard form, so we just need to find our a, b's, and c's from this. So ax squared, the coefficient is 2, so a is 2. Okay, the coefficient here on the bx is 3, so my b is 3, and the constant, the one all by itself, is 5, so my c value is 5. Okie dokie. Now all we gotta do is plug these in and go from there. Okay, so negative b, let's start right here. Negative b, that's a 3, so I say negative times my 3, okay, plus or minus square root. I put in my 3, it's going to get squared, minus 4, and my a value is 2, and my c value is 5. I'm going to divide that by 2 times a. My a is 2. So now you've substituted in everything really nicely, and we've written it pretty clear. So now we just got to start the mathematical process. So we're just going to start left to right and do what we can do. And we'll just take it step by step by step, writing nicely and making sure we don't make any silly mistakes. So a negative times a 3 would be negative 3. Good. Plus or minus. Okay. 3 squared is 9. Minus, okay. 4 times 2 is 8. And 8 times 5, what's 8 times 5? So we say 8, 16, 24, 32, 40. It's 40. And we divide that by, well, what's 2 times 2? 4. Let's keep mathing. Okay, so we just bring down the negative 3 plus or minus the square root of, well, 9 minus 40 is negative 31. Okay, and that's going to be divided by 4. Okay, so remember, a square root is saying you multiply a number by itself to get that value. Because this is negative, though, we know that's not really possible because a negative times a negative makes a positive. But there is that concept over here. I'll just write a little thought bubble. There is that idea about imaginary numbers that you can have the square root of negative 1, and we would call that I. I stands for imaginary. So when you see a negative inside a radical when you're solving these, you can rethink it like this. This is like saying negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 31 I made that way too big. 31 multiplied by the square root of negative 1 all over 4. Okay, so the square root of negative 1, we just said, well, that's I. Okay, cool. So really what we have here is, oh gosh, I got to scoot down a little bit more. What we have here is negative 3 plus or minus I root 31 over 4. And this is going to give us an imaginary solution, so we don't actually really need to go that much further. This is pretty much enough. But if you want to be very clear that you understood there were 2 solutions, 2 imaginary solutions, technically speaking, no real solutions, but if you want to show these imaginary solutions, you could just say, well, x is negative 3 plus I root 31 over 4, and x is negative 3 minus I root 31 all over 4. Those are your 2 imaginary solutions, or your two imaginary roots, okay? If someone said how many real solutions are there, then you would say no real solutions. And they're not real because they are imaginary. Okay, and that goes back to this idea right here. Okie dokie. As always, if you want to be notified when I make more practice problems just for you, go ahead and subscribe below. And if you have any questions or comments, or just want to let me know that you don't like my handwriting or something like that, just leave a comment below and I'll do my best to respond quickly. All right, guys, thank you.